Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com in the Iron Asylum with Santi Aragon. We are here less than 1 week out from the IFBB Miami Pro, where Santi will be making his pro debut after coming off the 2014 NPC National welterweight victory back in Miami Beach. I remember that. And, Santi, we talked back then, I think the first time, and, I was super impressed with your conditioning. I actually was the guy who said that I think you were the most conditioned guy at the 2014 Nationals. And you kind of disappeared, but, you had a plan. Tell us.
I had a plan. I try to stay as much in the loop as possible, doing a lot of guest posing routines. My routine caught a lot of attention from different promoters, which was great in the local area. So I did about 6 guest posings.
Wow.
Through the course of, from getting my pro card all the way into the beginning of this year, which was awesome because it kind of got me on stage, got me to meet new people and stuff like that. I got linked up with Muscle Tech, so I was doing a lot of promotional stuff with Muscle Tech. And it just, I had to put in an off season. I had to put in the time to put on a little bit of size. And then, when they announced that they had the 212 class this year for the first time in Miami, I'm like, dude, this is a no-brainer. I have to do the Miami show. So I went in head on.
Now you spent the last 2 years or a year and a half, whatever, bulking up, putting as much mass on to make it to build yourself up to be able to fit into that 212 class. Obviously use all that symmetry and conditioning you have to really, dominate. And then this year they announced, hey, we're going to come out with a new division called Classic Bodybuilding, Classic Physique, which is basically, you could have walked in there off of the national victory.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to shoot myself when it came out, when they announced it, because I'm like, damn it, I already put about 7 to 8 months of hard off-season work, put on a ton of size, and then now they come out with this shit, and I'd have to first measure myself because I'm on a good day, I'm over 5'5", and on a bad day, I'm under 5'5", and that's a 5-pound difference. That's 165, what I got my pro card at nationals.
Right.
And then above that is 170. So I'm like, man, me at 170 is perfect.
What do you weigh now?
Right now, I'm on a good day, maybe 184 right now.
What do you think you'll step on stage at?
Probably around that weight. I'd like to think maybe about 183, 184, which is a significant amount of size considering I was 164 at nationals.
There's no way you can make it into Classic Physique anymore.
I could. If I really wanted to, I could. Yeah.
All right.
I'd have to jump on a Palumbo keto diet.
Yeah. Well, I guess test the waters, because otherwise you're going to probably have to gain another 15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah, I'm in that good spot right now where I'm conditioned enough to just have to change up the way that I'm eating and maybe the way that I'm training. And I think I could push myself if I really wanted to. I could do it, but if I was going to commit to do Classic Physique, I'd have to do it this year. I wouldn't be able to take another off season. Forget about it. I'll be over 200 pounds. It'd be impossible.
Is it exciting to finally be getting up on a pro stage? Because you did wait. I mean, sometimes a lot of these guys can't wait. They're like, I gotta compete. Mm-hmm. You took a whole year off.
Yeah, it's been something that I've been thinking about my whole off season, that exciting moment where I get to get back on stage. But at least I had, like I said, I had these guest posing appearances, so I got to perform. I think that's what I miss the most is being able to make a show out of it, coming up with the routine and the presentation and what am I going to come up with next. I think that's what I miss the most. And since I was feeding into it already with the guest posings, it kind of kept me at a cool state, but I'm excited that it's in my hometown. My parents get to see, my friends and family get to go. So that for me, that's a lot. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that because how often do we get to compete in our hometown? Once you hit the pro level, it's kind of like you got to go wherever the show is.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a no-brainer to do that show.
Now, given the level of conditioning the judges have seen from you at that NPC Nationals, I'm sure they're going to be looking for the same thing. Are you nervous that, given the fact, guys who try to come in bigger sometimes don't bring that, insane level of conditioning. Are you planning on doing that? Are you planning on sacrificing some of it to have more fullness? What's the game plan going into this weekend?
I know that by seeing what I've been looking like in the morning, which is obviously, you piss all night, multiple times, and you wake up at your driest. You get a pretty decent idea of what your conditioning is going to look like in the morning, and you could still lose. I mean, I get on the Stairmaster and I weigh myself after that, and I still drop another like 2-3 pounds just by doing 30 minutes of cardio on the stairs. Right. So I take a look at that gauge and I'm like, you know what? With a proper carb up, with a proper depletion, that final week, with a proper, just everything aligned as perfectly as possible, I think that I'm going to be very, very close to what I look like at Nationals. Now, granted that this prep was a lot different because I actually had to keep muscle on. Nationals was kind of like, I need to make weight by any cost.
Sure.
If I have to sacrifice muscle, if I don't eat, I'm not going to do it. This approach is a little bit different. I had to kind of weigh out everything as far as a balance of I got to eat enough, I got to do enough cardio, and I got to train enough to make sure that everything is like leveled. I'm not too over conditioned that I lose size, and I'm not too overly huge where I sacrifice that crispiness
detail.
Either.
Yeah.
So it was a different approach, but I learned a lot this prep, which I liked.
Now you run a cell phone repair store business, which we were talking about before we started, and I love it because you had mentioned to me I was complaining on a radio show about how my phone was broken and I needed something fixed at the last minute, and you actually said that there's a couple of franchisees up here in New York that do it. Tell us what you do. Explain the whole concept.
I own a store. It's a franchise store. It's called You Break I Fix. We have over 150, 200 locations. It's going to be over 200 locations this year. We're the biggest franchise of this type of work in the United States. And just the name itself, You Break I Fix, is like, just people remember it. People remember this. And it was a business that I kind of went into as a part-time job. I was going to school. I was in college, I was going to school, and I needed a part-time job. And then they asked me, hey, you're very good at managing. Would you like to become a manager and then possibly own a store one day? And I'm like, yeah. So they gave me that opportunity. I jumped in very early when the business was just getting started. They didn't have 100 locations.
Right.
And I got in at a time where it was booming, and I haven't looked back since. I opened up my store 2 years ago. It was the same year that I did Nationals. I opened up my store. It's in Miami, and now I'm working on a second one. It's in Doral, Florida, where the awesome Trump has his headquarters at. I know you guys talk a lot about Trump too. Yeah. So I'll be close to the Trump everything.
Maybe you'll fix his phone one day. You never know.
He'll just buy the company out and make it awesome.
That's even better. Well, best of luck. You're looking fantastic, and I got to say, I got a good feeling about this coming weekend in Miami, and hopefully maybe we'll see you on an Olympia stage later this year.
Thank you, man. I just wanted to say, Dave, thank you for putting out all the media that you put out. I watch all of it, just letting you know. I watch absolutely everything that you put out, and it definitely makes cardio a lot more enjoyable. Heavy Muscle Radio is by far my favorite thing every single week. So I just wanted to thank you for keep on putting out great media out there.
Appreciate that, and best of luck this weekend. For now, we're out of time. I'm Dave Palumbo with Santi Aragon in the Iron Asylum.